Welcome to LinesToGo installation videos. Today we will be removing and installing brake lines on a 2001 Chevy Silverado with LinesToGo part number BLC-128-SS. While this particular installation is on a 2001 Chevy Silverado, this set of lines will also work on the following year, make, and models as shown on your screen now. LinesToGo lines are made using original equipment end forms and fittings that are CNC bent for an easy and precise installation. We have also upgraded to stainless steel braided Teflon hoses for rust protection and to prevent surface fouling. These have an unlimited shelf life and anti-static PTFE liner. This set of LinesToGo lines are made from 304L stainless steel for rust resistance that exceeds OEM standards. Tech tip: disconnect the battery before working on a vehicle to reduce the risk of shorting out the battery on tools or lines. LinesToGo lines are made with a sectional design for easier installation. We also use color-coded unions on our sectioned lines. Just match the colors of the connections. Make sure to depressurize the fuel system before starting the installation. Tools required are a 7mm, 13mm, 15mm, and 22mm sockets and ratchet, 10mm and 14mm wrenches, a flat blade screwdriver, cutting pliers, a drain pan, a hoist, or a jack and jack stands. The level of difficulty for this installation is considered to be medium. To depressurize the fuel system, locate the fuel pump fuse using your owner's manual and remove it. Start the vehicle and wait for the engine to stall. Make sure to replace the fuse once completed. One of the lines in this set is made with a shipping bend. Straighten out the section of line between the two tags. Begin by removing all the threaded fittings on the ABS module using a 14mm wrench. Using a 14mm wrench, remove the primary and secondary brake line at the master cylinder. Remove the two plastic brackets holding the lines together. Raise the vehicle and remove both front wheels using a 22mm socket. Remove both front inner wheel wells using a flat blade screwdriver to remove the plastic clips. Using a flat blade screwdriver, remove the lines from the brackets located along the driver's side frame. Remove the two lines going from the master cylinder to the ABS module through the left front wheel well. Using a pair of cutting pliers, cut the line going to the right front wheel in front of the left front shock. Remove the rear section of the right front line going to the ABS module. Using a 14mm wrench, remove the threaded fitting at the left front flex line. Remove the line from the plastic brackets using a flat blade screwdriver and remove the line from the vehicle. At the right front wheel, remove the threaded fitting from the flex line using a 14mm wrench. Using a flat blade screwdriver, remove the line from the plastic brackets and remove the line from the vehicle. Using a 14mm wrench, remove the fitting from the rear flex line. Remove the top and bottom quick connect fittings at the charcoal canister located in front of the fuel tank. Remove the quick connect fitting at the rear vapor line. Using a 13mm socket, remove the single bolt securing the charcoal canister. Slide the canister towards the center of the vehicle and then remove it. Disconnect the two quick connect fittings at the rear pressure and return line. Using a 7mm socket, remove the 3 bolts located under the fuel cap. Support the fuel tank. Using a 15mm socket, remove the 2 bolts securing the fuel tank straps and remove the straps. Make sure to feed the filler neck over the frame while lowering the fuel tank. Once the tank is lowered enough, reach on top and remove the 2 electrical connectors going to the sending unit. Continue to lower the fuel tank, making sure the filler neck does not get caught on anything. Remove the rear brake line from the plastic brackets and remove the line from the vehicle. To begin the installation of your LinesToGo brake lines, start by installing the front section of rear brake line into place and install it into the plastic brackets. Start the fitting into the ABS module by hand. Install the rear section of the rear line and start the fittings by hand at the rear flex line and at the union. Once the line is in place, use a 14mm wrench to tighten all of the fittings. Note the LinesToGo color-coded ends for ease of installation. Raise the fuel tank into place, making sure to feed the filler neck over the frame, and install the 2 electrical connections before it is completely up. Install the 2 tank straps and tighten using a 15mm socket. Feed the filler neck into place and replace the 3 bolts securing it with a 7mm socket. Install the quick connect fittings onto the pressure and return line in front of the fuel tank. Install the charcoal canister back into place and using a 13mm socket, secure it with a single bolt. Install the top and bottom quick connect fittings at the charcoal canister. Install the quick connect fitting at the rear vapor line. Install the rear section of right front line into place. Start the fitting into the ABS module by hand. Install the front section of the right front line into place and insert it into the plastic brackets. Start the fitting into the right front flex line by hand. Start the union at the left front strut by hand and tighten using 2 14mm wrenches. Tighten the fitting at the right front flex line using a 14mm wrench. Tighten the fitting at the ABS module using a 14mm wrench. Install the line going from the left front wheel into place and start the fitting at the flex line and at the ABS module by hand. Tighten both fittings using a 14mm wrench. Install the line going to the primary port on the master cylinder into place and start the fitting by hand. Tighten using a 14mm wrench. Install the line going to the secondary port on the master cylinder into place. Start the fitting by hand and tighten using a 14mm wrench. Install the plastic brackets along the driver's frame rail and secure your new LinesToGo lines. Using a 22mm socket, remove both rear wheels. Using a 14mm wrench, remove the fittings at the left rear flex line. Using a 14mm wrench, remove the fitting at the flex line union. Using a 13mm socket, remove the bolt on the rear axle securing the left rear brake line and the park brake cable. Remove the line from the vehicle. Using a 13mm socket, remove the bolt securing the right rear brake line and the park brake cable. Using a 14mm wrench, remove the two fittings on the right rear axle line. Remove the right rear axle line from the vehicle. Using a pair of pliers, remove the brackets that secure the brake lines to the axle and install them onto the new lines. Install the new right rear line into place and secure it using a 13mm socket. Start the fitting at the rear flex line union and at the rear flex line by hand and tighten using a 14mm wrench. Install the left rear line into position and install the bolt securing it using a 13mm socket. Start both fittings by hand and tighten using a 14mm wrench. Using a 10mm wrench, bleed all four wheels, making sure to keep the brake fluid reservoir topped up. Install both front inner fenders and using a 22mm socket, install all four wheels. This concludes the installation of brake lines on a 2001 Chevy Silverado with LinesToGo part number BLC-128-SS. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or would like to purchase the lines you saw today, please call us at 1-855-781-5992. Email us at info@linestogo.com or check out our website link below. And don't forget to take advantage of our free 2-day shipping. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe button below, and we will see you on our next video.